Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Charlie and we have a lot to get through, so I suggest you go grab yourself a drink, cup of tea, I'm British, and let's get started. As some of you will already know, I'm currently in Australia, but I'm actually just on a tourist visa, so I can't work. So at the moment, I'm basically full-time editing, which means that actually I can put a lot of time at the moment into editing my series, which I just finished, and obviously I'm gonna be starting Iceland. I've already done a fair amount of that already. So at the moment, I'm basically working full-time on my channel, but I do try to give myself 2 days off, which sometimes can be a little bit tricky, but I try very hard to make sure I give myself some time to get out of the office, and get out on an adventure and create some other content. This week I've decided that I wanted to show you guys a few bits and bobs that we've actually been getting up to whilst we've been up here in Darwin. But before we get into that, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone that commented on my latest Instagram story that I did for Kakadu. I actually put quite a lot of effort into creating those little stories and trying to make it interesting and engaging for you guys. I want to tell you a little bit about it and actually make it exciting, you know, from one story to the next. You know that I am a massive believer in giving actual value. Otherwise, you're just wasting people's time.
Welcome to Facebook.
And I wanted to really give you a sense of what it's like. I try to just really carefully pick the exact points that wraps up that tiny moment in time. Like, for example, that little pan that I did of the campsite and sunrise, because it was just peaceful and stunning. And so many of you have given me a little like reaction to that. So some of you will know that Tom and I actually flew up here this time. We do normally drive, which means that we can take all our stuff. But because we flew, it means that we don't have any of our camping equipment up here or our fishing stuff. And you all know how much Tom loves fishing. So I actually contacted a fishing company called Darwin Harbour Fishing Charters, and they really kindly invited us out on a day trip to go and see what it's like to go and do a fishing charter. So I thought I would start off with showing you what happened on our little adventure. What are we doing today, Tommy Roo?
Going fishing.
His favourite activity. So this is going to be interesting. We're on this kind of tinny boat. Off we go. A little bit rocky. I'm sorry, the footage is going to be a bit all over the place. I'm trying to stabilize it. Okay, let me just quickly jump in here and explain how this works. With Darwin Harbour Fishing Charters, what you can do is either pick the morning, the afternoon, or a full day. Obviously, we were doing the full day because Tom wanted to do as much fishing as possible. But the idea is if you pick the morning charter, you then catch your fish and then you eat it for your lunch. And all I'm gonna say here is it's a good job we weren't relying on me to catch our lunch. I'm not really catching anything.
It's just a matter of time, Charlie.
What is it, Tom?
Estuary cod.
Estuary cod. I'm just feeding the fishes.
Charlie's got a fish. Keep whining, Charlie, don't stop. There it is.
Oh, what is that?
Oh, you got a moonfish.
It's a moonfish. It's a moonfish.
And moonfish on my shoulder.
Oh, at least I got a little fish.
How are you feeling after that epic battle?
I mean, there was definitely a shark on there at some point. This is the actual fish that we just caught. Hell yeah.
The little goldies and the estuary cod that we got.
Oh, nice. I'm so excited. Hell yeah. So after lunch, we headed out again, and my fishing skills did not get any better. Seriously. However, there was some excitement. They're both battling. It's just too exciting. We don't know what it is. I hope we get to see what it is. Two of the guys on the boat actually caught sharks at exactly the same time, and they were big.
About 7 foot long.
Whoa!
Just doing donuts.
Oh my god.
And do it quickly. 1, 2.
Wow.
Ready to let it go, Mojo?
Obviously we weren't trying to catch sharks, but the only way to get them off is to pull the entire line up to then cut it. But that is no easy feat, as you can see here.
Ready? Which one's bigger?
Okay, same.
Got it.
Not only did we have lunch that we'd caught, but we're now having dinner.
Bit of garlic and butter and lime juice, salt and pepper.
Yum.
Whack the lid on and let it steam.
I also wanted to show you a little bit of an adventure we did last week where we went down to Gunlom in Kakadu. Now, I didn't really film much of this trip because I was trying to just go offline. I even did a story on my Instagram just before saying I've been just, I don't know, having a few off days. And going offline kind of helps because I'm one of those people that massively compares myself to other creators, and then anxiety stops me creating. It's a vicious circle. So yeah, signing off. I just needed some headspace, and I was using this time to just, you know, zone out and just go offline and not be looking through a camera the whole time. However, it's too beautiful to do that. I literally couldn't resist. There was this beautiful sunrise one of the mornings when we were camping. Wait, I say one of the mornings, we actually only stayed one morning because there was a slight disaster. Tom got really sick, so we basically had a very brief stop at Gunlom. I went up to the top without him, which was really sad because Tom had actually taken me up to that infinity pool in Gunlom the very first time that we'd gone on an adventure together. I think it was exactly 3 years ago. So Tom and I are now gonna sit and watch the sunset whilst I'm having a G&T and some Doritos and dip. This is awesome. We were still at that stage where we didn't really know if it was just gonna be a holiday romance or not, so we decided to throw ourselves in the deep end and head out on a road trip all the way up to Darwin and spend a couple of weeks up here exploring. And yeah, Gunlom was one of the first places that he took me to, and we sat and we watched the sunset, and it was just magical. I mean, that place is just stunning. And it's at this point that I wanted to just say to you guys, if you are coming to Australia, don't miss out on coming to Kakadu or doing the top end or the west coast. So many people just do the east coast of Australia, and that's crazy. This place is just spectacular. It's so amazing.
Might be a little crazy, I don't mind. I like
We're in the Devil's Models!
No need to set off the alarm.
I'm a little bit lost.
No, so I won't stick with it.
The only thing is, you do need to be very careful about the time of year that you come here, because Darwin and anywhere from the middle upwards in Australia has a very distinctive wet season, so the weather is extremely humid and you do not want to be here anywhere from about, I'd say, October round to May, because it is very difficult to deal with. But in dry season, this place is outrageous. I mean, look at Gunlom, for example. It's a natural infinity pool, and you just look out over the whole of Kakadu, and it's so unbelievably beautiful. It's never crowded. There's like no one there. It's like one person here. One person. It blows my mind, because if this was in England, I mean, oh my goodness, there'd be a queue down the road to get into it. So many people make that mistake of only planning to do the East Coast. I mean, don't get me wrong, the East Coast is amazing. I had a fantastic time there doing Fraser Island and doing the Whitsundays and everything, and the Noosa Everglades, oh my goodness. Those sand dunes were just... oh my god, it's amazing. The West Coast, I'm gonna do a whole video on the West Coast at some point, because it is just outrageously stunning. I wanted to show you is the Mindil markets that are held every Thursday and Sunday during the dry season. And we go a lot, and the reason for that is because one of our friends actually owns one of the stalls there. Her name is Jess, and she runs a stall called the RoadKill Cafe, and she's the reason that we came up here in the first place. It's the reason that we came to Darwin when it actually was still kind of wet season, which is why earlier on in my videos I was complaining about the storms and the rain. It's like someone turns a tap on during wet season, it's crazy. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up because I seem to be completely incapable of making short videos. I hope that you've enjoyed seeing a few behind the scenes of stuff we get up to when we're up in Darwin. And next week will probably be part 2 of the blooper slash outtakes video from series 2. So if you've still not watched all of series 2, what are you doing? Link in the description below, because you have to finish the series, then you can watch the behind the scenes. That's enough from me. See you next week. Bye!